welcome to Kids Work. I'm just going to hold on a minute, let everyone get here on the live feed and things, so hopefully you've enjoyed this morning so far. Kids Work was great. It was great to hear again about living by faith. So we're going to have Kids Work in a second. Now I'm hoping that you got our little video that we made yesterday, so that you are slightly more prepared and you don't have to dash around the house to find things. I'm also hoping that that means there are some children who are dressed up. So if you are dressed up as a king or a queen for Kids Work today, if you've got a picture, if you could pop it on the comments, that would be fantastic. I'd love to see you dressed up as a king or a queen. Wonder which ones you've chosen, whether you've chosen someone modern or whether someone's gone for someone from history. We'll have to see. We've got some kings or queens in a minute in our house too who are going to dress up. But we're going to do our song first as always. I'm just going to wait for people to arrive first. So I'm going to see if I can refresh my page on my computer so that I can see if anyone's with us. I'm just refreshing that. Sammy, can you sit up for me, please? That's it, well done. Good boy. There we go. Oh, look, I can get it now. I'm hoping if I can put it on here, I'll be able to see your lovely pictures coming up when they come up. So we'll see if I can make the technology work. It's a bit tricky. Lots of things going on at once. Our internet is struggling. It's saying, too many computers. So just see if I can find it on here. Should be able to see me. Where's me? I can't find it. Hold on. It's loading. Oh, there we go. We've got it. It's there. Let's make that nice and big. Right, so I'm just waiting on, it's loading up now, so I'll hopefully be able to see. Oh, hi Lisa, hi Ruben, hi Irene. There we go, I can see who's here now, that's quite nice. I can say hello to you all. Francine, Francine, you're here too. Joel, are you here as well? I hope you're here. Maybe you're dressed up, are you dressed up as a king? I'm not sure. If you are, get your mum to pop a picture in the Facebook comments for me, that'd be lovely. I'd love to see what everyone is dressed up as today. It might take a while for them to come up, but anyway. So we're going to start this morning with a song, and we've got a song that we use in Kids Work again. I'm going to need some helpers. You two can come and join in. The others can join in when they get here. Okay. Let's see if I can load this up. So let's start. Okay, we ready? A bit nice and loud. Are we ready, Jenny? Okay, here we go. I'm going to start with some jumping. Are we ready? See if you can jump around. Jesus. Okay, now, Izzy, Benny, Charlotte, quick change. Let's find those kings and queens. Can you go over to Izzy? Izzy's going to help you. Okay, Sammy, you're going to come and help me. Okay, so, today we are talking about a procession. The entrance of a king. So we thought we would have a go at being kings and queens. So Sammy, can you put your arms in the air for me? That's it, well done. See if you can guess which kings and queens, which era we're going for. Arms up, Sammy. Coming round. Okay. I can help you, Benny. It's alright. There we go. Put that one on there. Oh, where's your crown? There we go. Put this round the front there. Can you do your special? There we go. Here we go. We have an emperor. Here we go, from Roman times, a ruler from Roman times. Benjamin, are you going to dress that too? Should we find this one? We're ready. I wonder whether we've got any kings and queens pictures on our Facebook page. If you are dressed up, make sure you send a picture. There we go. Who have we got here? We've got, oh, hang on, it's got a bit stuck. It's velcroed itself to itself. There we go. We've got a medieval king. Here we go. We've got a knight king. Yeah? You don't want the head, that's fine. You can take that one off. And here we go. We've got some queens as well. Here we go. We've got a medieval queen. Here we go to go with our medieval knight. Here we go. And somewhere I think we've got a more modern queen. I'm not sure where she's gone. She's hiding.
I'll go with her.
Have we got a modern queen who wants to come and join us? Shall we see? Okay, so we're talking about kings and queens. Now, all these things that we normally think about kings and queens, what do we normally have? What does a king or queen normally have to show that they're a king or queen? Where's your tiara, your crown? Oh no. Okay, so they have a crown to show us that they're a king or a queen. They are dressed in rich and fine. No, yours went over there. They are dressed in rich and fine clothes. They've got money. They've got people who flock around them. These are the kings and queens that we kind of recognise as kings or queens. They have giant processions with horses and carriages and trumpets and fanfares, and they all walk around and they've got lots of money and they're all dressed beautifully with their crowns. Okay? So today you can take all your costumes off now. There we go. With our modern princess might. There we go. Quick. Here we go. So queens nowadays look more like this. Pretty dresses and tiaras. Lovely. Okay, because I'm going to need you in a second. Okay. Now the king in our story today is a little bit different. As you may have guessed, we are looking at Palm Sunday today, because it is Palm Sunday, which was about the entrance of the king into Jerusalem. And this king was Jesus. Okay, let me just have a look and see if we've got any pictures.
Mommy.
I can't see any pictures yet. Hi Amy Muir, it's nice to see you. Nice to see your face on the picture anyway. Okay, so we're going to be talking about King Jesus today. Now he was a bit different. He wasn't like the kings we've been talking about. He didn't come with a big crown on his head and lots of money and people who did everything he said and followed him around with trumpets and fanfares. Jesus was a little bit different. The story of Palm Sunday in the Bible goes a little bit differently. It's not about a big procession with gold coaches and palaces. It's a bit different. Okay, so we're going to act out a very brief version of the story, and then I'm going to tell the story again with a little bit more information. Thank you. We'll need the pegs later. Okay, so let's have some disciples. Oh, where's Charlotte? Charlotte can be the disciples. Izzy, you can be Jesus. Look out, everybody. Woo! Okay, that's the donkey. Okay, so Jesus rides into Jerusalem. So Jesus has been outside of Jerusalem and he comes into Jerusalem. He's got nothing to ride on. So he stops at a village and he gets a donkey. Now Jesus and his disciples, Charlotte, can you be a disciple? Can you just follow behind Jesus? Come into Jerusalem. Boys, can you come and be the crowd? Here, Benny. Here we go, Sammy. Okay. And the people were really... Hold on a second. The people were really... I'm going to pretend this is my face. People were really excited to see Jesus because they'd heard all the things he'd been doing and they were cheering and saying, Hosanna, Hosanna, hey, Jesus is coming. And they were so excited they wanted to honour him. They didn't want him to have to go on the dust. So they threw their cloaks on the floor in front of him and they threw their palm branches down on the floor. Just put one down, there we go. And then they waved their branches and they cheered and they shouted, hooray, Jesus has arrived. And it was big triumph and it was massive crowds and they were cheering and they were shouting for Jesus because they realised that Jesus was someone special. He didn't have a crown, he didn't have riches and gold and donkey, not in a nice big golden carriage. But the people recognised this was something special, and they shouted and they praised and said, Hosanna, hooray! Jesus! Hooray! And Jesus rode into Jerusalem. Now we know this is only the start of the story that follows on for the rest of this week, that will conclude in our service on Sunday next week. But Jesus arrived in Jerusalem and everyone cheered and waved. Hooray! Fantastic. You can sit down. Thank you very much. I will need you again in a second. Donkey can stay over here. Oh. You can hold on to them if you want. Okay. So, this story, I'm going to just retell it a little bit and give you a little bit more detail. So Jesus is arriving in Jerusalem. Okay, he travelled all over Israel helping people, doing miracles and telling them all about God's love. Now he was coming to the capital, the most important city in the country. Okay, this was something the Bible had been promising for hundreds of years. It was all finally coming together, and the people were starting to go crazy, like their country had won the World Cup. Can you imagine the big parties around the country? There was a problem, because Jesus wasn't rich and famous like a normal king with gold and all of the trappings. He didn't have big fancy horses and shiny golden carriages or a big fancy army that went everywhere with him. Instead, in the Bible, we find out that Jesus was a little bit different. Izzy, do you want to come and read this bit for me? Come and sit next to me.
As they approached Jerusalem, they came to Bethphage. It was on the Mount of Olives. Jesus sent out 2 disciples. He said to them, "Go to the village ahead of you. As soon as you get there, you will find a donkey tied. A colt will be with her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, because the Lord needs them, the owner will send them right away."
Fantastic. Okay, so Jesus, he doesn't come into town in a nice golden carriage. He comes into town riding a donkey. Now, donkeys are not the proudest, they're not the most beautiful animals, they are work creatures. They're there to work, to put heavy things on, to get jobs done. But Jesus chose a donkey to come into Jerusalem. Okay, and there's a reason for this, because this wasn't an accident. This was what the Bible had said was going to happen for hundreds of years. The real king wasn't going to be fancy, but he was going to ride into the city on a donkey. A donkey that he didn't even own. A donkey he had to borrow. Okay, Charlotte, come here. Come and read this next bit for me. This is what, in Matthew, this is what it says. It says,
"For this took a place so that was spoken through the prophet would come true." It says, "Say to the city of Zion, see your king comes to you, and he is gentle and riding on his donkey. He is riding on his donkey's colt."
Okay, and that was prophesied in Zechariah, which is in the Old Testament of the Bible. This is hundreds of years ago. But it said, "Say to the city of Zion, see your king comes to you. He is gentle, riding on a donkey's colt," which is exactly what happened when Jesus went to the village and borrowed a donkey. Jesus was fulfilling a prophecy. He was supposed to ride on a donkey's colt. That means a young donkey. Can you imagine a big, important king? Can you imagine Queen Elizabeth II riding on a little donkey? What about the big armies and the fancy horses? Where have they gone? You see, Jesus wasn't a normal king. He wasn't trying to show how important he was and force everyone to do what he said. Jesus was the opposite. He came to show everyone how much he loved them and to demonstrate the importance of serving. Okay. So in Matthew 21 again, we're going to carry on the story. Izzy, come back and read this next bit for me. Okay.
The disciples went and did what Jesus told them to do. They brought the donkey and the colt. They placed their coats on them. Then Jesus sat on the colt. A very large crowd spread their coats and was cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. Some people went ahead of him and followed. They all shouted, "Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest!"
Okay. And they went and got the donkey. Big crowds gathered and started showing up, covering the streets with their coats and branches from trees, because they didn't have paved roads back then. They were all muddy and dirty, and they wanted to show respect for Jesus by covering up the dirt so that he could walk on a nice clean path into the city. And they cheered for Jesus with words from the Bible. This was a big victory celebration, and everyone was excited to see what would happen next. There was a big commotion, and I bet the people in the city who didn't join in were wondering what was going on. Can you imagine if you heard all the shouting on the streets? You'd be like, oh, what's going on? Why are there people shouting outside? You'd want to go and look and go and find out what was happening. Okay. When Jesus entered Jerusalem, this is back from Matthew again, the whole city was stirred up, and the people asked, who is this? The crowds answered them, he is the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee.
Mommy.
Okay. So people were trying to figure out who Jesus was. People hadn't heard about him. Remember, there was no TV, so even though Jesus had been doing all these amazing things, not everybody had heard about it. Because there was no TV, there was no radio, there was no way to communicate with lots of people all at once. It was by other people telling them. Okay. So some people still didn't know what was going on. And so at this point, the crowds are gathering, the people who've heard are cheering Jesus, but the other people in the city don't know. And they start to find out all the things that Jesus has been doing. Okay. So this is Jesus entering Jerusalem. Remember, he comes not to show how important and proud he is with his big crowns and his fancy army and his golden coach, but he comes quietly to show, quietly and full of love and showing people about serving. Okay, that is the King of worship, a God of love, a God who loves to serve us and loves us when we serve, loves it when we serve other people as well. So that is what we're learning about today, Palm Sunday. Hooray! And it says in Matthew, here we go, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. And Jesus came on his donkey, and he came, and it was amazing. And everyone worshipped him, and we can come and tell people as well. Just like Stephen was saying in his message to the adults about telling people, we can tell people as well about all the amazing things that Jesus has done. So we're very quickly going to have a little craft time now. This is where you're going to need your bits that we put on the video. So hopefully you watched the video and you knew what you needed. You needed 2 pegs. You needed an old pizza box or cereal box. You needed scissors and a pencil. So come and have a sit down. We're going to make a donkey. Here we go. Can you see our donkey? So out of your pizza box, what you need to do is you need to draw the outline of a donkey. Start with the ears, it makes it a bit easier. And then give them a big bottom. Those are your special scissors. And then we get some pegs and we put them on the bottom for the legs. Okay, so I'm trying to do a craft that you can do at home with just what you've got lying around, because we can't all go out to the shops and buy lots of things. So we've got our little donkey to remind us about Jesus riding into Jerusalem. So here we go, we're going to pop him over there. And we're going to have a go. Here we go, Benny. You can have a go at cutting this one out. Sammy.
Mommy, is this for Mum?
Yeah, those are your ones. Special scissors. Here we go. And draw a nice template of a donkey. Can you see I started with the ears. Go, we'll zoom in. Woo. Okay, started with the ears, it makes it a bit easier, and then down his nose and round, and then a nice round body so you can get the pegs on it. Okay. Here we go, chopping that one out. Yeah, those are your fingers, that's right, right fingers, 1, 2. Good boy, there we go, Charlie. Izzy, do you want to do one? There we go, we can have one. Slide it over to you. There we go. Okay. Oh, good boy, well done. Might have a bit of a problem with this donkey, but that's alright. We'll sort that out in a minute.
Huh?
Good chopping, Benny. Yeah, we need to go down that, around the lines, that's it, follow the lines.
Oh.
That's it, good boy.
I don't need it to hold it.
Okay, yeah, around the lines, follow around the lines. Well done, Sam. Oh, well done, Charlie. Charlie's nearly there. So follow the lines. Follow these lines. Okay, so obviously you won't have drawn the donkey either, so this will take a little bit of time. So we're going to skip ahead and we're going to keep going, but we'll skip ahead so that you know what to do next. So once you've cut your donkey out, once you've cut your donkey out, you just pop your pegs on the bottom. 2 pegs for his legs. Okay, so then your donkey's got legs, and then you just need to find a little scrap of your paper or card or whatever, and you need to do some snips up like this along the bottom to make a little ribbon, and then you just tape it on the back. Okay, and and then you'll end up with a lovely donkey. So we're going to keep doing our craft. You can keep going at home as well. And we will see you next week for our Easter service, which is going to be a bit different. It's not going to be 3 separate live streams. We're just going to be live from 10:15 on the Facebook page. So we hope we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Bye!